And we are back. Welcome, guys. My name is DK, and in this video, we're going to be breaking down the Hall of Fame game showdown slate. Yes, NFL football is finally back, and I am super excited. Love Hall of Fame game, love preseason NFL in general. It's been super successful throughout the years, and hoping that continues this year. But yeah, I cover content for NBA, NFL, daily fantasy sports, player prop stuff as well. Underdog, they are the sponsor of today's video. You can use the code DKDFS or the link down below for a $250 deposit match bonus. Highly recommend Underdog. Have had a lot of success there with player props, and yeah, we'll be grinding out the player props in the preseason as well. If you guys are curious of how last preseason went, about 120% ROI and over 100 units in profit. Just an absolutely phenomenal NFL preseason. And had a couple big wins. That was Olympic basketball or World Cup basketball, but won the fourth quarter showdown, $200 into $4,500. So yeah, super excited for that. But these are two props that I already took. I know they've been significantly bumped already, but we took Davis Mills over his passing yards and Freddie Swain under his rushing and receiving yards. But yeah, guys, click that link down below if you do, and deposit does really help support the channel. And if you guys will look for more content, guys check out my Patreon linked in the description. All right, so let's just quickly, if you guys have not played preseason DFS, quickly give you guys a couple tips. So at least on the showdown sites, right? Defenses and kickers are your safest bets, right? Defense are going to be out there the entire game. And then a lot of the position groups, like quarterbacks, usually you see anywhere from like 2 to 4 quarterbacks play. Running backs, somewhere around, I don't know, 4 to 6 on average. Wide receivers, sometimes you see 10 plus wide receivers play. So that's why the defenses and the kickers are the safest bet. But yeah, let's not waste any more time. Let's just get right into the breakdown. So we'll go position by position. We'll start with the special teams. Again, Texans and Bears, I think are your two safest bets in the showdown slate. They're going to be very popular, but they should be. And they're not going to be as popular as they should. So there's not going to be a lot of offense scored in the Hall of Fame game, most likely. I believe the over-under was 31 last time I looked. So not a ton of points expected. And you're going to have mostly backups, third strings playing. So the two defenses, I think, are the two the safest plays on the board. And then both teams only have one kicker, right? A lot of the times in preseason, you'll see teams carry 2 kickers, which makes them obviously riskier targets for like showdown slates. But in this slate, only one kicker for both teams. So I think Santos and Fairbairn, two very safe options as well. Okay, so let's get into the quarterbacks. So quarterbacks, what do we know? Well, we know we're not going to see CJ Stroud and Williams, right? So I guess we'll start with what I think is your overall safest quarterback play, and that's going to be Davis Mills. Also, one other thing to note too, pricing doesn't matter. Everyone's the same price, so you don't have to worry about price points for preseason DFS. But okay, I have a few tabs open here. All right, so what I want to show you guys is this quote here from Aaron Wilson. Said that in the Hall of Fame game, Davis Mills is set to play extensively. So the Houston Texans, they have 4 quarterbacks on the roster. We know CJ Stroud is not playing. The veteran Case Keenum is, I want to say he's close to like 40. He's pretty old. So I doubt he plays much, if at all. And the only other quarterback there is a guy that's been around for a while, kind of like a third string practice squad guy in Tim Boyle. So we got the confirmation that he's set to play extensively, which is pretty rare for a Hall of Fame game. So I think Davis Mills, clearly your top option here for quarterback. Again, I don't have a ton of interest in Case Keenum. I doubt he plays much, if at all. I think Tim Boyle is fine. Like, I think he'll play. My guess for the playing time expectation is, I think extensively means probably at least a half. So I would say Davis Mills, 2 to 2.5 quarters. Case Keenum, maybe half a quarter to nothing. And then Tim Boyle, maybe 1 to 1.5 quarters. That's kind of like a fair guess, I think, for playing time there for the Houston quarterbacks. But yeah, I think Davis Mills, your top quarterback play on the showdown slate. But let's talk about the Chicago side. So again, Chicago, we won't be seeing Caleb Williams. So you got Tyson Bagent expected to start. Then you also got Brett Rippon and then the rookie Austin Reed. So looking at the Chicago quarterbacks, Bagent, I think, will probably be your next most popular quarterback play on the showdown slate. I think he's fine. Again, didn't have great numbers in the regular season, but he's reasonable. I think with 3 quarterbacks expected to play, you're probably going to get around a quarter and a half for every quarterback, a little less than that. On average. Maybe we'll get some clarity exactly of what these quarterbacks will play, but I think Bagent will probably be the next most popular quarterback play. And then you got Rippon and Reed. If I had to pick between the two of these quarterbacks, I think I would slightly give the edge to Reed, the undrafted rookie. I think he could get some playing time there in the back end of the game. Okay, so that is quarterback. Now let's talk about running back. So running back, so we know the starters are not going to be playing for Chicago, right? And we also know that starters, key players, are not going to be playing for Houston as well. So, no Joe Mixon, no DeAndre Swift. But there is one team that is pretty short on running backs. I want to bring up this from Sean Hammond. So this is very, very important too for the Hall of Fame game. These were a list of players that were not practicing. So you have Travis Homer here, and you have, where is he? Ian Wheeler, 2 running backs for the Bears, right? So let me see. Do they have the depth chart up on Draftkings? Probably easier. Oh, they do. Okay. So, again, DeAndre Swift not expected to play. Homer and Wheeler, both banged up. Both have not been practicing. I doubt they play tomorrow. At least 3 running backs for the Bears, right? You got Herbert, you got Roschon Johnson, and you got Demetric Felton. Now, Herbert has been with the team now, what's the 3rd year? Roschon Johnson, 2nd-year guy. And then Demetric Felton's been around for a while. He was in the Browns for a few years, good pass catcher. One of the Bears beat writers indicated that Herbert is not expected to play a ton in the preseason, but he's probably going to have to get, I would say, at least a series, just because I think the Bears are only going to have 3 running backs available, unless something changes. We'll see with actives and inactives, but right now I would be pretty surprised about Homer and Wheeler playing, just because they've been out for a few days now, and they didn't practice today either. So I doubt that they're able to play tomorrow. So that being said, I think Demetric Felton is probably your top running back play on this showdown slate. I think he is the guy that you should expect the most playing time from. And then of the other 2 running backs for the Bears, I think I prefer Roschon Johnson to Herbert. I think he has more playing time upside. So I think Felton is probably your safest running back play on the entire slate. But I do like Roschon Johnson as well, because they just don't have options. Someone's got to play running back, right? So, Roschon Johnson looks really, really good. But Felton, I think, is probably your safest bet for playing time. Okay, and then for Houston, so Houston's a little bit of a different story, right? You got a lot of running backs on the depth chart, right? 7 running backs. Now, we're not expecting to see Joe Mixon, but in this blurb, they also said that it was Dameon Pierce and Juwan Jordan expected to get a good amount of run. Now, what's the exact quote? So, a lot of the young guys... So we're really looking forward to see most of our young guys get out and compete and see if they can take things that we've been teaching them from the daily field. Take it, okay. That's the main thing you'll see in the first Hall of Fame game. You'll see a lot of young guys who are vying for a spot to make it in the NFL. It'll be great to see those guys go out and compete. So just like kind of in general, Hall of Fame game, that's usually how it goes. It's the back end guys. It's the young guys, first, 2nd-year guys to get the most run. Now, if you're looking at this depth chart, right, you got Dameon Pierce, Juwan Jordan, right? Those 2 guys were quoted to be set to play a good amount in this game. So I think both those guys are solid options. However, there's still a lot of other running backs in this team. You got Dario Gambale, veteran's been around for a while. You got Cam Akers. You got J.J. Taylor, who's with the Patriots for a bit. And then you got the rookie in British Brooks. So a little bit of a different story here, right? I think the Bears running backs are way safer. But I think that that Pierce, Jordan are probably your best bets. I think like Taylor and British Books are fine. However, it's really preseason. It's all about playing time, right? and a lot of competition there in the backfield there for Houston. Okay, so that is basically running back. We can quickly talk about tight end. So tight end, Houston, they usually tight ends on the showdown slate is kind of a position that you avoid. However, Houston might be pretty short-handed here. I think your most popular tight end play is probably going to be the rookie, Cade Stover. And it's just because that Houston is pretty thin. Let's bring up the depth chart here. It's actually pretty convenient that they do have the depth chart up. But yeah, Dalton Schultz is not going to play. Dalton Keene's been a little bit banged up. And then Brevin Jordan missed a recent practice. So we'll keep an eye on that. But they might only have two with Stover and then Quarantano. Quarantano was someone that, it was a showdown like last year or 2 years ago, that I ended up like taking a shot on him, and he scored a touchdown. He was like a second or third string tight end for Houston at the time, I remember. Yeah, so Houston could be relatively shorthanded at the tight end position. Stover, good pass catcher in college, so I think he's a solid tight end play. And then Quarantino, probably I would say would be your next best tight end play on the showdown slate. Now, if you look at the other side, right, take a look at the Bears. So doubt we see Kmet or Everett. I mean, Mercedes Lewis is what, like 50 years old. That guy's been around forever. But they still do have like a decent amount of guys here. Carlson, Sweeney, right? You got a couple other guys as well. So not as interested in the Chicago tight ends. Now for wide receivers, so again, starters, main guys not expected to play for either team. So basically just crossing off like the main guys, right? So let's just bring up the depth charts here for both teams. I think that's a little bit easier to talk about it that way. Okay, so let's go through Houston, right? So you got Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. They're not going to play. Robert Woods, the veteran. Doubt he plays. Noah Brown, veteran. Don't think he plays, right? So how many wide receivers does that leave? You got, what, Mechie, 1, Skoranek, 2, Xavier Hutchinson, 3, Steven Sims, 4, Johnny Johnson, 5, Cephas, 6. That's 6. I mean, if Brown and Woods, like Brown could play, Woods, outside chance he could play. So you're probably looking at what, like 6 to 8 guys, I would say, there for Houston. So of these wide receivers, I think that probably Mechie and Hutchinson would be your top options. They're both in their second year now, I want to say. Second or third year. Hutchinson's second year from Iowa State. Mechie, I think, is in the second year as well. In the preseason last year, both those guys had a solid preseason. Hutchinson played a good amount. So I think those two are probably your standouts. But Ben Skoranek also expected to get some decent work, right? He was in the Rams for a few years. Johnny Johnson's been around for a while, kind of the end of the bench practice squad. So wide receiver, I will say, is definitely your riskiest position to target on the showdown slate. However, probably has the most upside, right? If you can guess right on when a receiver that can catch a long touchdown, it could win you the showdown slate. The issue is it's just, kind of a lot of these guys are boom or bust. They're not going to play as much as, some of these quarterbacks or even running backs, right? Now, talking about the Bears wide receivers. So again, we're not going to see Moore, we're not going to see Allen. I would be pretty surprised to see the rookie Odunze as well. I'm pretty sure he's going to be grouped into the starters. So that leaves Scott 1, Velus Jones 2, Carter 3, Pettis 4, Colin Johnson 5, Webster 6, Freddie Swain 7, LeBlanc 8, John Jackson 9. So still a good amount of receivers there expected to be available for the Bears. I think there's not a lot of standouts here. I think Colin Johnson's going to get some ownership, right? He was in the Giants for last year, for a couple of years. He's had some really bad injury luck, but he's a big body wide receiver, still talented. Velus Jones, Tyler Scott, they were kind of on the end of the bench last year for the Bears. Webster, he played a good amount for the Bears last year. He had missed the last couple practices, but he was confirmed back at practice yesterday. So I'm expecting him to play. And then you kind of have a couple of the end of the bench guys. But yeah, I think if we're targeting wide receivers on this showdown slate, I would say the Houston side is a little bit safer to target than the Chicago side. Also, I will say, right, I think Davis Mills is pretty clearly your most talented quarterback playing in this game. So like the starting, quote unquote, starting receivers for Houston, which will be kind of like the backups, I think, do have a little bit of a higher ceiling, which I expect to be, guys like Hutchinson and Mechie. And then, yeah, we already talked about tight ends. So I think that's it for the general breakdown. Now, we'll keep an eye on actives and inactives, right, to get a better idea of, who exactly is going to play. But again, the biggest tip for preseason is playing time means everything, right? Like the Rams, they're not on this slate, obviously, but they're a team historically that always, only has like 4 or 5 wide receivers. They play like 3 running backs. They play like 1 or 2 quarterbacks. The Rams are a team that I always target super heavily in the preseason because it's all about playing time. Talent is not as important in the preseason. It's really about playing time, right? So target the guys that are going to be, with positions that are a bit shorthanded, right? So for the Bears, for example, probably we're going to have 3 running backs available. The Texans, right? They're a little bit more shorthanded wide receiver than the Bears. We talked about the tight ends, right? Probably only a couple tight ends available for the Texans, right? With Stover and Quarantino. So, yeah, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Again, if you are looking for more content, you can check my Patreon link in the description. I'll be posting, I know we won't have it obviously for the first week, but I'll be posting snap counts, data, all that stuff will be posted over my Patreon. Plus, we'll be doing videos, player pool, stream before lock as well. So, thanks again for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Again, I am super excited for the NFL to be back, and we'll see you all in the next video.